walk me through what is actually driving market sentiment right now. We've just come through this really busy week of central bank meetings that really underscore this narrative of higher for longer rates and concerns about slowing growth. But how is this going to stack up into the fourth quarter in your view?
I think the Fed decision was probably largely expected. I think the market participants were probably a little bit surprised by the dot plots that was going into 2024. This clearly leads to a mismatch in its expectations. I think most of street economists and strategists were expecting rates to come down in a fairly rapid clip by the first quarter of 2024, and that seems to be disappointed by this negative surprise, if you will. I think the street is worried about economic growth.
Zhikai, what's the biggest risk out there?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Let me just interrupt you there. What's the biggest risk out there? Do you think higher oil prices are going to disrupt the disinflationary trend? That seems to be one of the key areas of concern that people are talking about right now.
I think energy is clearly one concern, but the other thing that we also need to remember is that if you look on the YOY composition, the fourth quarter of 2022 was probably an area where inflation was starting to come down. So the YOY comps on that would probably be poor in the months ahead before the end of the year. And I think that probably will not lead to a good inflation reading to allow the central banks to basically signal a cut. I think that's the biggest risk right now. And obviously crude approaching 95 doesn't help from that perspective.